Welcome to Devoted Druid Karn Hex Drinker style. This is a list I've been tuning for a little while now, and an iteration of this list is what I'm actually playing in the Modern Streamers League. You can see here I still have bedhead, even though it's late in the afternoon. It's because I live a wonderful life and get to be self-employed. So, how this deck works is functionally, it is very simply easy to look at as a Devoted Druid list. And if you just break it down, we have Mana Ramp package with Devoted Druid, Utopia Sprawl, and Arbor Elf. And from there, we're able to powerfully push out Planeswalkers and Finale of Devastation here to get some late game power. This deck also has the Devoted Druid Vizier of Remedies combo, which is pretty powerful when you look at it and then break that down to say, oh wait, this deck has Finale of Devastation, Walking Ballista, and also just has Karn to win the game. This deck can win on turn 3 by going a turn 2 Devoted Druid, turn 3 Vizier with a Karn, Ballista, or Finale, or even a Shalai, as any of those will give you infinite mana, something to do with your infinite mana. Teferi not only protects your combo, but also is able to grind pretty well by bouncing an Oath of Nissa or say an Eternal Witness to let you just churn through cards into your deck. There have been plenty of times when I've cast a Devoted Druid and a Vizier, had infinite mana, and then gone, I didn't have a payoff yet, but I went Oath of Nissa, grab me a Teferi, cast Teferi, bounced Oath of Nissa, and because Oath of Nissa lets me cast Teferi for green mana, I can actually use the infinite green mana I have with Devoted Druid to cast Teferi. So I was able to play the Teferi, bounce the Oath of Nissa, draw me another card, and then play Oath of Nissa again, digging 4 cards deep. And if at that point I hadn't hit a payoff yet, which could be an Eternal Witness to buy back maybe a early Finale or another Oath or another Teferi or something, or it could be a Karn or any of these cards here, would just straight up win me the game once I have that infinite mana. Shalai being the one exception that I do also need a white source and able to help cast her. Now this deck doesn't need Devoted Druid to win because it does have Karn in the Karn package. The Karn package is right here. It's got a bunch of interaction right here with Tormod's Crypt, Pithing Needle, and Snaring Bridge. And then it also has win conditions with Mycosynth Lattice, which combos with the Karn the Great Creator to lock your opponent out of casting spells and activating abilities, including mana abilities, for the rest of the game. Wormcoil Engine, which is just a really big dumb beater, and sometimes you need access to those. And Walking Ballista, which is obviously a mana sink. The rest of the sideboard's rounded out for non-Karn package. I like to keep the Karn package kind of slim to give me more flexible options in sideboard games rather than locking myself into only having access to things main board. I have my 4 removal spells here. Winds of Abandon is a Path to Exile that sometimes is better thanks to Overload, and also dodges Chalice of the Void on 1 and also avoids Meddling Mage, naming it. Thragtusk combines with Wormcoil Engine to have extra big dumb beaters. Tracker is a grindy value engine. That card could be any grindy card. I even played 6-drop Ugin for a little while. Scavenging Ooze is an extra Grave Hate, and 2 Night of Autumns to primarily help against Burn, because Burn is a tough matchup here, but also get some splash damage on artifact decks. So that's the deck. Let's run it through. So, Modern Druid Hex Drinker. There we go. So the final night of the Modern Streamers League is tonight. The 5th week and night 2 is tonight, so be sure to check in on that at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay. Here we go. We're up against It's Lux. No idea who that is. but I haven't been memorizing the names on the recent 5-0 lists, so that's completely fair. Wow, I rolled a 1. Okay, so my rules about this deck in particular are I'm going to mulligan any hand in the dark that does not have ramp. Now, ramp would be Arbor Elf, Utopia Sprawl, or Devoted Druid. So I do have 12 ramp spells. Hey, Steven, how's it going? So I do have 12 ramp spells, and this deck does play very different to other Druid lists. Like if this was a base Devoted Coco list, and this was Noble Hierarch, and this was Duskwatch Recruiter, and these are Court of Calling, this hand would be the easiest ship in the world. But instead, I'm looking at this hand and going, well, this hand goes turn 1 Dork, turn 2 Dork, turn 3 Karn. That could do something. A turn 3 Karn is pretty powerful. However, we do have a London Mulligan rule, and I can definitely do better than this. So I'm going to mulligan. Okay, this hand is much better. I still only have 1 land, which is a little painful. But I do have the turn 1 Arbor Elf, turn 2 Devoted Druid, and I also have a Hex Drinker and some Ewits and Skoos as threats. So I'll keep this. What I'm going to bottom is definitely not that land. I'm either bottoming the Eternal Witness or the Skoos. I think I'll just bottom the Eternal Witness. It's the most redundant there. And Skoos is really, really good right now. Good. Glad to hear you're doing good. Are you still on Abzan Finks? Okay, Emeria the Sky Ruin. I'll just lead off with how I said I was going to. Turn 1 Arbor Elf. I'm still interested in drawing lands, so I'm not going to grab a fetch right now. No idea what my opponent's on. Temple Garden and Emeria with Oath of Nist. So this has got to be a new deck. Mistcutter Hydra and Giver of Runes. Okay. Alright, how much mana do we have here? So I have 4 mana accessible, so I can play Druid and Skoos. Let's do that. I will shock here. Now I either want Hex Drinker or Skoos here. I actually don't know which one I want more. Hex Drinker I get to level up once. Skoos actually is pretty useless at the moment, so I think I'm actually just going to go Hex Drinker and level him up once. Hey Blade Man, how's it going? Lava Dart and Plague Engineer really hurt the deck, absolutely. I think that's why we need the Karn package to really push forward there. So opponent just played a tap land and passed. So if we draw a Finale of Devastation and our opponent doesn't have removal, we just win the game here because Ewit buys it back. Not lucky. Okay. So I can't do anything here. I wish it was like a Dismember because then I could Ewit it back, but... Of note, our opponent is running a Bant list. This is a Bant mirror. Okay. Yeah, Honest Thief has a fantastic turbo list. It's probably, might be the best version right now of Druid. I just don't like turbo variants. I have no idea what we're up against here. Finale. Finale wins the game unless their captain goes Ranger Captain, and they do not. Okay, so I really can't do much here. I'm just going to hold on to this Eternal Witness because, again, with Finale, it is lethal. Yeah, free land. I really just wish that was able to level up, though. But if they hadn't killed the that, they would have definitely killed the Druid. Skoos will do some work against this Elvish Reclaimer, but other than that, not too much. Okay. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I almost have 6 mana to start leveling up Shalai right now. I might just play this Ewit right here and pick up a land. That would let me have more power in the board when I start Shalaiing. And because I have Shalai, I don't need double Finale because Shalai is a win condition. Yeah, shaving on Mana Dorks makes Chord worse. Shaving on Mana Dorks makes a lot of the deck worse. So yeah, I think I'm going to play Ewit here. Yep. Yeah, that archetype you absolutely cannot. This one here, you can see Devoted Druid is really just a dork so far. Yep, let's pick up that land. And I'll pass here. So a Vizier of Remedies off the top would win me the game. Finale would also do a lot of work too. Opponent needs 7 or more planes. I'm going to do my best to keep them off of that. I've really wanted to jam company with Ranger Captain of Eos, like a green-white list, but I just don't know if Ranger Captain is actually better than, say, Bugler, for example. Alright, that Blast Zone is going to be a real pain in the butt. Vizier. Okay, thank you very much. Path Exile on Shalai, or the game is over. Okay, there we go. Turn 6. I'm happy with that. So what did we learn our opponent is doing? Winds of Abandon might be useful to completely clear their board. Tireless Tracker is an extra threat to grind them out. They're definitely going to be running like Path Exiles and stuff. Skoos was pretty helpful, but I don't know if I don't think I want 2 of them. So let me answer your question, Mind Rocky. Why doesn't Counters Company run both Finks and Coder, Knight of the Reliquary? So I don't like main deck Knight of Autumn anyway. So in my opinion, anybody who's running main deck Knight of Autumn on MTGO or in an open GP is just strictly wrong. It could be correct in your meta. For example, if you showed up and there's a ton of burn or a ton of Urza decks, you could be metagaming against that. Having a main deck slot's fine there. But in an open meta like MTGO or a GP, I think Knight of Autumn is just a wrong decision. The reason why I don't like Knight of the Reliquary, I also don't like Knight of the Reliquary in Modern right now. I think Knight of the Reliquary is a 3-mana do-nothing card. And yeah, it can be a 3-mana 7/7, which is great when that happens. But why does a combo deck want a 3-mana 7/7? And if we compare Knight of the Reliquary to Prime Time, Primeval Titan, we get to see, okay, they're both creatures that interact greatly with lands and fetch up utility lands. They both come down turn 2 or turn 3, depending upon how the deck is constructed. One of them, the moment you play it, gets you 2 lands, and every time you attack, gets you 2 lands. So it encourages you to attack, and it gives you immediate benefit. Knight of the Reliquary is not Prime Time, though. Knight of the Reliquary, you play her, and you get nothing. You wait a turn, and then you don't want to attack with her because you want to use her tap ability, so you're not even incentivized to attack with your giant creature. All right, let me catch up here. What do I want to cut? I think Hex Drinker can be pretty neat. I don't really think I have to cut very much, to be honest. I'm going to cut an Ewit for a tracker. I just want to kind of help grind through this opponent's removal a little bit. So I was just going over why I don't like Knight of the Reliquary. I don't want to run both, in my opinion. I know people have had success doing that. I don't want to do that because it's a bunch of 3-drops that are competing for resources. So this is a nice little turn 3 win hand. I'll keep it. What do I bottom here? So this hand can go, it's going to go turn 1 Arbor Elf, turn 2 Sprawl. I could do Karn, or I could go into Druid and then Finale. Oddly enough, I think that the worst card here is a Horizon Canopy or the Sprawl. The Sprawl is really nice because it lets me go turn 2 Karn if I choose to. So I think I'm actually just going to bottom this Horizon Canopy. And hopefully I draw another land. But why don't you run both? They're both 3-drops, it's both pretty clunky, and then you're really taking away from the strength of the deck. So do you want to go turn 1 Noble, turn 2 Knight of the Reliquary, or turn 1 Noble, turn 2 Druid? And I know having extra options is great, but I don't think having an infinite combo along with just a big generic beater, it really doesn't like work well together unless that big generic beater is part of your infinite combo like it is in Nightfall. Jesse Colford ran both. Yep. Yeah. So it's just it's a totally different list. I think it's better if you're not trying, if you just want the combo to try to just win through certain spots. If you're expecting to side out the combo a lot, then like what's the point of, I guess, having the combo? Oh, that stinks. That stinks real bad. Okay. Yeah, so Bojuka Bog, Gavany Township, Blast Zone are all really good, but at that point, I mean, if you're running, like I said, if you're spending that much time and energy with Knight of the Reliquary, you're better off just playing like an Amulet Titan deck. And I know it's very, very different, but you're better off just doing something to that effect. Oh, okay, opponent's dead. They don't know it yet, but they are very, very dead. One thing I really like about this style, but this list in particular, is when an opponent sees turn 1 Arbor Elf, it's kind of like a must-answer threat, so they don't always have their removal spell for Devoted Druid. I'll catch up on chat in just a second, just got a lot of clicking to do. Okay. 1-0. I actually don't think comboing against Verdict decks is that hard for this version. If you're expecting to fight against a lot of blue-white control, I would run Druid Karn. Teferi makes that matchup, Teferi and Karn make that matchup very, very different, because we can go, oh, you have to respect my turn 3 kill. If you don't, you die. And if you do respect it, well, you're playing Path to Exile, and you're doing things that are ramping my lands, so all I have to do then is stick it to Teferi, and if you kill it, then I get to bring it back with an Ewit and try to just keep recasting it till I eventually exhaust your resources. And then once I play it to Teferi, I just need 10 mana in play, and I can cast Karn into Lattice, or I can play Karn if you have no threats, and then Lattice right after, and win the game. I've been crushing blue-white control so far with this list. I think I'm 5-6-1 against them. So, Mindraki, if you're worried about, if you want to grind, I think Kitchen Finks grinds well enough in the places you're trying to grind, and I think Kitchen Finks just does a better job than Knight of the Reliquary. And if you want to beat control, I'd recommend running Teferis. Okay. 1-0. I still don't know what that was. Let's update the sheet. Was that Bant Emeria? Bant Emeria. Didn't really get to see too much of my opponent's deck list there. Oh, welcome aboard. This looks like our opponent forgot to join. If blue-white control main deck surgicals me, then I have other ways to win. If they surgical Vizier or Druid, I'm going to win against control. I'm trying to win with Karn anyway. If they surgical Karn, then I'm going to try to win with Druid. And if they surgical Karn and Druid, then I have my Hex Drinker. So I still have an extra way to try to win. It's not going to be pleasant, but I still have an extra way to try. Welcome aboard the Doom Trained, Mindraki. Welcome aboard. This hand is great. It's obviously not like my perfect hand, but I have plenty of mana turn 2. Okay, up against Jund. The Jund matchup has been very 50-50. I think it's exactly 50-50 right now from my records. It really depends upon, my game plan is to, game 1, I try to land a bridge, and I have less answers for bridge, and then into Worm Coil. And post board, I kind of forget about bridge because they're going to bring in random stuff. I want lands, so... Yeah, so you can do any hand. You don't really need Druid. And Oath of Nissa helps dig. If you have ramp, oof, wow, opponent Dreadboring there. I think they've got to have plenty of removal here, right? I'm being a little silly with my life total here. Okay, Veil Edict, sure. Land. No land. But we do have the kill next turn if they can't kill this Druid. Yeah, a turn 2 Karn hand is perfectly fine in the dark. Honestly, with a turn 2, a turn 1, any turn 1 ramp, if you don't have Druid, what do I want to drop here? I drop the Ballista, even if they drop a Scooze. Okay. Alright, I need to land pretty bad here. That is not a land. This is one of the reasons why Arbor Elf is actually a decent... that's why people were running Arbor Elf in these lists. I cut Arbor Elf, I just didn't think it was good enough. But so far, opponents had Thoughtseize, Dreadbore, and 2 Lilianas, 2 Edicts. So they've been interacting with us plenty, and we're still not out of this game yet. We really needed to drop a Druid last turn, but could not, unfortunately. Wow. So we're just getting torn apart here because we are not drawing land. My loss to Jund at the my loss against Jund at the MCQ, I had to wait. I had 5 lands and a Worm Coil in hand, and I had to wait. I had 3 turns as a window to get that 6th land that I never did. Which is really unfortunate because I'm running 21 lands plus 3 Oath of Nisses to help dig for lands, plus 3 Eternal Witness, which can get fetch lands out of the graveyard, plus Mana Dorks, and that would count too. I don't really see how I can win here. Yeah, I just don't think I can recover from this spot. I think I've just lost too much tempo. So if I draw Forest, I get to bounce Tracker, which is pretty sweet. But beyond that, I think I'm just falling too far behind with this Liliana. MCQ and Worcester. Okay. So I do want to keep trying to fight through this. I think it's worth it. Okay. My game plan now is to get a Karn. I need to interact with this Liliana, and I need to get a Karn. Okay. So I'm just trying to put myself in a situation where if I top deck Karn, I have the best possible situation. Or opponent just says lethal. Okay. MCQ, I started out 4-0, and then I did not do well after that. My deck did not draw particularly well. There was one game where I drew 18 out of 21 of my lands. I drew every land except for my 3 Horizon Canopies. It was just really weird, and that was game 2, and I won game 1, and then game 3, I drew 6 lands off the top when I had infinite mana. Not winning those games. So against Jund, I want to bring in my removal, Scavenging Ooze, Tracker, Thragtusk. I want to take out at least 3 Vizier Remedies. I might take out more. I also like taking out 2 Arbor Elves because they're really weak against Run and 6 and Plague Engineer. I sometimes consider taking out more. I lean a little bit harder on Utopia Sprawls, and Oath of Nisses is finding me lands here. Finale isn't as powerful when I don't have the combo. I think against this opponent who is really, really respecting everything about my combo, I think I don't mind just doing something like this and taking all the Viziers out. Vizier's really, really weak against Jund, especially when my opponent is willing to spend as many resources as I did last game to keep me off of her. I'm going to keep Devoted Druid in because Druid does not die to Run in 6, and Druid's also just a very good ramp spell on her by her own. So my game plan here is to land Karn. And keep this. Just need to draw lands with this hand. Single fetch land, and my Eatwit can start buying back lands. Alright, Oath of Nissa, I have 20 lands left in my deck. 51 cards left. So Oath of Nissa should be able to hit me a land. So I think I'm going to be a little greedy here. And try to develop my board a little bit faster. Okay. And since every land in my deck taps for green mana, I didn't have to worry about either taps for green mana or fetches a green mana source. I didn't have to worry there about if I hit a land and it wasn't able to give me the green mana for Druid. Sure. Opponent discarded a land for that. They also saw my hand. So if they don't kill this Druid, next turn I'm going to drop a Thragtusk on them, which is pretty epic in and of itself. That's actually a really good draw because not only am I progressing my mana, but now I don't have to worry about Devoted Druid dying to run in 6. If I didn't draw the land, I would have had to minus Devoted Druid, and then they could have just pinged him off with the run in 6. Run in 6 is really, really good in Modern. Like, really, 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 really good. I'm going to compare it to Deathrite Shaman. I think it's almost that good. Sure. Yeah. One, two, three, four, five, 6 available mana. I can Karn, grab a Worm Coil. I don't think my opponent's got a Thoughtseize, or else they would have taken this Eternal Witness. I said I had 6 mana, so I can Karn. You can Ewit back Winds of Abandon and hope to Winds of Abandon my opponent next turn. But I think I'm just going to Karn here and tax my opponent's resources. If they have a Bolt for the Druid, if they have a Bolt for Karn, they don't have a Bolt for Druid or Thragtusk, so I'm completely okay with that. I'm just going to sit down, protect Karn, and next turn threaten to win the game. I'm not wrong about what Run in 6 being amazing. I didn't want to pre-order it because I thought it was a little bit pricey for pre-order, and I regret it immediately. One of the all-time blunders of my MTG financing. See, they had the Bolt. I don't think they had it. I think they had to have just drawn it, so I'm not too worried about that. They killed the Druid, so I can't drop the Worm Coil, which is fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think what I want to do is play Scavenging Ooze and sit behind that. I do think I want to shock because I want to start aggressively attacking my opponent's grave here. I mean, they're definitely gonna block. Is that a bad thing? No. Oh, yeah, I can beat a Ren ult because I have a Skoos. If they kill Skoos, then I cannot beat a Ren ult. I actually did beat a Ren ult at the MCQ, which is pretty sweet. I'm honestly more worried about this Raging Ravine. Or this. Okay, so that's going to kill my Skoos. I'll just exile this Bolt, I think, right now. Okay. Opponent shocked. Seems strange to me. Okay. Land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then next turn I get to Izzet back something awesome. So my opponent's going to run in 6 ult and get this Maelstrom Pulse, but then I'm going to have to Izzet back Skoos. Unless they have 2 lands in hand here. 1. Alright. Not going to beat a Ren ult when they have both lands in hand. Yep. Okay. 1-1. So that matchup is entirely dependent upon Wormcoil, and they had the answer for Wormcoil and its tokens thanks to Run in 6 ult. We really needed to fade like another turn there. At game 1 you saw we were just stranded on lands, which is just a painful spot to be. I do think Jund is very, very good right now. I still attest that that matchup is very even. So I win the die roll, and this hand's perfectly fine. As long as you don't draw 6 lands in a row, this hand is great. I don't know if I really could have pressured Ren a little more, and I was pretty cautious with my life total in general. I'll name blue, it's the only type of land I don't have. I don't really need blue mana unless I have exactly Teferi without Oath, but Burn is not a good matchup. Okay, so next turn I have Karn, and then if Druid lives, I can go Karn, Wormcoil. Yeah, I'm taking it. I mean, or we could just top deck Vizier and opponent doesn't kill Druid and we win. That could always happen too. Going for the Vizier. It didn't work out. I'll take another Druid though. Sure. Yeah, 4 Finks main definitely helps. I think, even still, I just think Mono Red Phoenix is so good right now. I don't even know if 4 Finks is really enough to totally fix that matchup. Opponent's got 4 cards in hand. I'm not going to block. My best chance of winning here is if I draw a Vizier. And I did just dig 4 deep for it, so sure. Yes, I probably should have just minus there. Yeah, I definitely should have minus there. That way they wouldn't have gained the 3 life. That was a little sloppy on my part. I just don't think I'm winning a fair game anyway. So, but that was definitely a mistake there. That was my first punt. I don't think I'm going to live for Wormcoil to have effect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Let's see how it's really going to do much here. Hey Andre, how's it going? Okay, if they just have 2 more bolts in hand, I'm just dead. I have the Izzet to block. Okay, that's a good sign. Yeah, before Lava Dart. Lava Dart really made Phoenix decks really, really good. Waiting for work to end. I get that. Okay. Okay, finale for 2. Then they kill Druid on the spot and I lose a game, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, that's the 4. If they have a bolt, yeah, I'm just dead. But if I play Worm Coil, I mean, I could grab Shalai too. Yeah, it's fair. I'm just trying to think. I can try to win the game right now, right? Opponent's already gone through 2 bolts and a Helix. They have 3 cards in hand. We know it's not Bolt because I'd just be dead. So it makes me feel like they have... I feel like they have Lava Spike and Helix in a land. Like that type of... Or like Boros Charm, Helix, land. Something awkward. Which means if I play the Worm Coil, I never get to untap and I just die. If they don't kill Druid, then I'm just going to get... Oh. So our opponent's just dead. Yeah. They have to do this now before they regain priority, though. Like, I can't put something on the stack. If I started just putting mana on the stack, they could bolt Karn in response, and then all I get to do is drop a Worm Coil, and then they untap with 2 kill spells and get me. But yeah, this is a nice little trap. Opponent's just dead. Nice stealing game 1 here. If our opponent is holding onto a Helix, that was a sloppy line. Kind of making up for my sloppy line of not killing the Druid earlier. Or our opponent could just have double bolt and is just playing us here. Nope. Alright. Let's bring in Knight of Autumn, Thrag Tusk, some removal. Winds of Abandon's a possibility. Let's cut. I think Hex Drinker is probably a fine cut here. And Vizier's also. Actually, let's look at my handy dandy guide. Burn. So against Burn, I was proposing cutting all 4 Viziers. Yep, Steve, that was definitely the right line. I don't think I'm going to be able to combo against them, so I'm just going to cut the combo. Cut the Ballista too. Keep the Druid, it's a removal magnet. I can trim some Teferis if I want to. Teferis are fine removal, the protection isn't as valuable. Hex Drinker is fine. The problem with bouncing their creatures is they have haste, so it's not as good. I'm just trying to value them out here, so my plan against them is to land repeatable life gain spells. It's Mulligan. This hand's fine. So like Finale here is just going to be grabbing like a Knight of Autumn or a Scooze. So my plan is to ramp, like if I go turn 1 Arbor Elf, turn 2 Sprawl, I can go Finale and kind of try to go off that way. And every creature they kill of mine is 1 less Lightning Bolt I'm going to be seeing. So no Viziers. My only combo here will be Lattice Lock. Okay, bolting my face. That's aggressive. Fortunately, I have to use the path now, but I do get rid of their creature. Still hits me, but stupid Searing Blaze and their double target. Alright, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 available mana, which means I can Finale for Shalai, so I think I'll just grab that. It's either that or I Finale for like a Knight of Autumn. My opponent's down to 2 cards, so I think I'm just going to try to win with Shalai here. If I make them double bolt Shalai, that can also buy me a lot of time. Being 1 mana short of Thragtusk is a little painful here. Okay. Thragtusk would be a great draw. I'm not attacking, I might need 2 blockers here. Okay. It's fine. I want the extra white source in case I draw Knight of Autumn here. Well, the good news is, if I manage to draw a Karn, I can Karn Lattice my opponent if I keep fading turns. Yeah. So, drew way too much badness there. Okay, yeah, this hand just bad, no ramp. So I gotta follow my ramp rule. This hand's fine, it's got the ramp. Unfortunately, I do have to shock for it. Sure. Come on, Forest. Utopia Sprawl, that works too. So, if I shock, I can Teferi and Path. I really do hate pathing burns creatures. But this Teferi does stop off any suspend Rift Bolts they have. Okay. I can get Bridge, which I doubt they have any answers for Bridge. And then that would make them burn me out. But I think I just need to grab the Worm Coil here. Okay. Teferi drawing a card when he unsummons is really, really valuable. And I do need to make up for my terrible draws in game 2 there. Opponent can definitely slow me down by killing this Arbor Elf. But if they use their removal spell on the Arbor Elf, then the Scavenging Ooze gets to do some work. So attacking Teferi. Yeah. So Teferi is going to be spending 3 mana, drawing me a card, and unsummoning an Eidolon. Perfectly fine with that. No, yeah. I mean, this deck, I really like how it basically runs off of, it can run almost entirely off of basic forest. And it's one reason why I'm running 5 basic forests. They might have Path for Worm Coil, that's fine, but then Karn will get it right back. Why did they do it that way? Our opponent just punted. They wanted to, once I didn't block, they wanted to boost it there. But they couldn't cast an instant to pump their Monastery Swift Spear to kill my Teferi because of Teferi. That's real fun. One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, I think I'm more interested in just dropping this Worm Coil than losing life with the Oath of Nissa. Now I'm just going to sit behind. Skoos can't do anything yet, but Skoos can do something eventually. Yep. So now I need to draw another Karn to get Worm Coil back. Wow. Okay. I think Thragtusk might be my best possible draw here, or Finale. Okay, opponent's got no cards in hand. I'm taking 5. Yeah, this is a rough turn of events. Okay, so I play this Oath of Nissa, I got onto 6. I'm pretty much dead to any top deck, but without Oath of Nissa digging, I'm really just dead anyway. I think I have to play the Oath of Nissa here. Okay. Yeah, I think that was the only out I had. Maybe grabbing a Karn into a bridge would have also been a fine line there too. But I've had the shock for that. And that bridge would have knocked me down. I didn't want to do the math, but it was probably death that way too. Grafdigger's Cage stops exactly 4 cards from my deck, so that's fine. Hey, Kupo Koma, welcome aboard the Doom Train. I mean, I did put my opponent on path, there was really nothing I could do to stop that avenue of attack. I certainly wasn't putting him on... I was fine if they pathed the Worm Coil, because that meant the Scooge was still around. I was not putting him on double removal. They have another path? That would be insane. Okay, I'm going to go to 6 here. I'll path the Eidolon. I'll play the Knight of Autumn and the Druid, and then I'll be passing. Okay, so I'm still representing 2 blockers here, especially since Druid is really just a blocker. I've gained 9 life this game, which is kind of making up for... Best possible draw off the top, I think, would be Teferi here, because Teferi will stop that Rift Bolt. This is how I lost one match at the MCQ. I have exactly 4 finales. I was playing against Urza, and I kept a hand with double finale, and my opponent had turn 1 Cage, game 1. And then post-board, I was like, you know what? Cage isn't that good against me, but my opponent seems ready for it. So I sided out 2 finales, and I drew both of them that game, and again, he had turn 1 Cage. Finale does nothing here. I think what I have to do, though, is I have to represent lethal to my opponent. Yep. Now these fetch lands get a little bit more awkward, or they have another path. It's true. Then we don't really care about anything else. We just care about that finale boost. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Actually, we had it with, now we have it with Druid. Now we have enough mana because they pathed us. So that's interesting. But to do that, I would have to tap the Arbor Elf, and then the Druid would be pretty weak. So the Druid would be lethal. So I think I'm just going to let this go through. I'll go down to 8. That's fine. Okay, so does our opponent have a removal spell for Druid? That pays for the green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I untap Druid and win with a 9-power creature. Or do I crack this Horizon Canopy and try to buy another turn? Those are the two lines, right? Like if I drew a Karn, Karn into Lattice just wins me the game here. Let's check out what our opponents got. They have 3 paths. I doubt they have another path. They have not played a bolt all game, so they could just bolt in response to my finale for 10 and really just end my career. Yeah, I think they have to have it. Granted, we could always just Horizon Canopy, draw a Knight of Autumn or an Ewit, and then blow up that cage, and then we can finale for something else. Okay, I'm just gonna, same thing, just try to set up next turn's lethal. Okay. Fortunately, I have to block this. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I still have it. Okay. 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Okay. That was amazing. All right. These are the moments, right? So let's add, probably should have this anyway. There. Yeah, the good old 12 mana burn spell against burn here. So this hand does not follow my rule. It's an easy mulligan. You can see I mulligan up pretty aggressively with this deck. This hand is fine. I'm keeping this because of the sprawl. I think I'm going to bottom. It's either Hexdrinker or Teferi. Bottom the Teferi. I can't yet cast him, so... If this is Izzet Phoenix, this is probably our worst matchup. This is my in-progress sideboard guide. Whether yes a combo, maybe a combo, no a combo, and that's pretty much the easy way to look at how you sideboard. Like blue-white control, I'm definitely trying to combo. Jund is a maybe, and burn is a heck no, I'm not trying to combo. I mean, we have here, if we draw a white source of mana, we have a turn 3 kill here. Feeling we're about to get Phoenixed. No. So now I have my double source of green here, and I get to put a threat on the table, even if it's not very big, but this at least forces my opponent to play a little bit differently. I just have to hope that they don't kill Druid or counter a Vizier. And then I have to hope that if that all goes through, my opponent will be nice to not make me click. Shalai is the slowest way to combo. It's what, 13 clicks to give +1/+1 to a couple of creatures. Surgical Extraction, my Windswept Teeth. I'm perfectly fine with that. Oh, opponent sees we have the kill and concedes. Wow. All right, okay. So we get to see that they are in fact Arclight Phoenix. So Knight of Autumn will come in for that stuff. Skews. I'm gonna take out at least 3 Viziers here, which means I'm also probably gonna take out the Ballista and just try to lean on Finale or just the plus. I want removal. And Thragtusk is an interesting option I'm probably not gonna lean too hard on. Hexdrinker's pretty bad here. The flip still triggers. Let's see what I wrote about this matchup. 3 Viziers, 2 Arbor Elves. I'm bringing exactly what I'm doing now. Watch out for Force of Negation and Anger. And I wrote Aria of Flame, but I wasn't expecting Pyro. I think I like this. So I did keep 1 Vizier in for game 2. Yeah, hand's fine. I'd like to draw a land. So I will be playing this deck tonight, trying to go 5-0 in the Modern Streamers League, playing against Eldrazi Tron. So of note, if they do a turn 2 thing here, I can Teferi bounce it. Utopia Sprawl is also a mana dork that taps the turn you play it. It's really, really good. It means you can't run Collected Company, but it does mean you get to run Arbor Elf, and Arbor Elf is such a scary card to sit across the table from. Okay, double, yeah, here we go. So opponent winning the die roll is pretty relevant, because that means we're going to have to... The only game we would get to be on the play would be game 3. think I jam Druid here. Yeah, I'm just gonna jam Druid. I am breaking up the Utopia Sprawl a little awkwardly, trying to play around anything my opponent could have. I don't think they run any boomerang style effects, but I'm not going to have an Arbor Elf live, so I don't think it really matters here. Yeah, I'm going to bounce the Phoenix probably next turn, but I'm also thinking of just going Finale for 2. Yeah, okay. 5 mana. Again, Finale for 3. Opponent has nothing I really care about in their bin at the moment other than 1 looting. Okay. Keeping that 1 Vizier, I might get rewarded for keeping that 1 Vizier in here. Hey, Alf Easy 86. Yep. How has Hexdrinker been? It seems really, really good as an extra way to utilize my mana. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Teferi was probably my best possible draw there. And now I have 3 mana. I can Ewit. I don't mind that. I mean, I think I'm just going to Ewit, buy back another Teferi. And I'm going to probably bring in like a Finale for a Scavenging Ooze and try to win the game like that. Yeah, please, opponent, replay Aria and let me bounce it. That'd be awesome. So far, I will say I haven't seen Thing in the Ice. I don't know if my opponent just doesn't run it. I did that main board Pyromancer Ascension, which means they only have so many slots. I still need to draw a threat. My game plan is still like a Karn into a Bridge or Karn into a Worm Coil, something. One, two, three, four, five, six. I can Finale for 2. Opponent's pretty much tapped out. Yeah, let's just Finale here. Is there anything I'd want besides Skoos? Shalai, maybe? We know that our opponent does run Flame Slash. I've already seen 1. I think Skoos is probably just better. It's going to be a 4/4. Yeah. I can Finale for Skoos and eat 2 to 3 things. I can Finale for Shalai. Which makes Aria of Flame really awkward. Actually, that's not bad. Yeah, I haven't changed my mind. To answer your question, or rather have additional add-on to answer it, Easy. Hex Drinker is really good as a early finale target. Teferi really makes it so the sorcery speed level up isn't as bad. And with Ewit and Finale, we can always just rebuy it from the graveyard in case somebody does kill it. So it's a easy, recurable threat that we can tutor pretty easily at just 3 mana. It's just not very good in this matchup, not only because of Lava Dart, but also because Thing in the Ice, which we actually haven't seen yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can cast Winds of Abandon. I like that a lot. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I'm at 9 life. I don't want to block with Shalai if I don't have to. So I'm fine with this interaction. The question is, am I attacking with Shalai? Swing at my opponent for 5. Put him down to 11. Yeah, it's a much faster clock this way, especially since I clearly have the 6 mana to... So next turn, my opponent will be taking 5, 6, 7. Yeah. I'm just hoping that their hand doesn't have... I know they have the Aria Flame, right? Which they're not going to cast because I have the Teferi, and they know about it. I did think about playing the first Teferi, bouncing a Phoenix, and then like doing something from there, and then thinking that they have the OK to cast the Aria of Flame, gaining me 10 more life, and kind of go from there. They're discarding Anger of the Gods and Thing in the Ice. Anger seems really good right now. At the very least, it kills this Ewit. New plan. This would knock them down to 9. This would knock them down to 6. I don't see a difference between 9 and 6 at the moment. Yeah, they would have to shoot themselves. Yep. So I can either cast a fairy. Oh no, I can't. I tapped the wrong one. Alright, so I can't cast a fairy. That was easy. I think the correct answer is just to hold up Skoos anyway. Okay, so they're hoping to find a way to kill Shalai here. Yep. Alright. We've beaten 2 bad matchups so far. And we got 1 more to go. How good of a... It depends on how the meta shakes out. I think... Honestly, you can take a peek at my data here. Red means it's a loss. White means it wasn't. So right now I have a 63% win rate with the deck, which is okay. Going 4-4 at the MCQ after a 4-0 start really hurt my data there. So if we just look at like affinity, Boggles is 1 and 3. I think it's just variance. Burn, we had our first win tonight. Dredge is a positive matchup. Eldrazi Tron's a really good matchup. You can see like across the board, like humans is actually, it's even. Infect is slightly unfavored. Izzet Phoenix, we just got our first win there. Jund is even. A mono red Phoenix, as long as the Phoenix decks aren't relevant, we're really good against like Urza and Control. So what I'm trying to say is I guess the deck is pretty even across the board, except against decks that run Phoenix or an excessive amount of lightning bolts. I don't know if I can tune it to really fix that. Alright, so if I have two chances of drawing a Utopia Sprawl. If I draw a Utopia Sprawl, I have a turn 2 Karn. But I have a 27% chance, I think, of hitting a turn 2 Druid. So let's just keep this. Yeah, you're welcome. So yeah, as long as... Oh, here's Urza. Okay. So this Karn is really good. So next turn, because I have this Dork out, I get to go Oath of Nissa, dig for Druid, right? And which means I'm going to see, because I got to draw a card, I'm going to get to draw another card, and then Oath of Nissa digs 3 deep. So I'm going to have, I had 5 shots hitting a 4 of on turn 2, which is pretty sweet. Oath of Nissa is really good in this deck. EE on 0. Okay, 3 more shots. Whiff. But I do have a Scooze, which is actually decent in this matchup. So we got stuck a little bit with variance there. Yeah, let's just do the math. So we get to see 5 deep on 53, and it's a 4 of. We had a 37% chance of hitting a Druid there. I also just love how differently this deck plays out. Like, what my opponent probably has no idea what we're on right now, right? Like, what have they seen? They've seen Arbor Elf, Scavenging Ooze, Oath of Nissa, and a Snow Forest, which just hopefully throws them for a loop a little bit. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I didn't get the ramp, so I can't Oath first. Yep. Really weird Super Friends. Like, that's what this just looks like here. And, let's kill the Chalice. So, if we draw a Utopia Sprawl, we get to Lattice them next turn. Snow Saheeli, sure. We haven't really shown much. I'm trying my best. I don't want to show my opponent. I want to win without showing them Druid if I can. Mirrodin Besieged. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 mirror. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they can flood the board. I can Finale for a Druid, Ewit back the... I'm just going to cast Oath of Nissa. That wasn't great. Yep, they're just going to try to win with flooding the board with 1/1s, which I can just deal with a Walking Ballista, so I'm not super worried about it. Which makes me wonder if I should just Finale for a Druid here to have extra mana. Trying to put as many bodies in play as possible, so when I lattice lock my opponent, I have blockers. That's an issue. I should grab Pithing Needle naming Urza, because Urza was really the only thing that could really beat me. That's what I should have done. What's Grinding Station do? Sack an artifact, mill somebody. Okay. Nope, and I'm going to lattice lock him next turn. It helps that my Karn is at such high loyalty. Because he's going to be down to 5 after I lattice lock them. And then I really just have to block that 8/8, and then everything else I'm fine with. I'm going to, let's see. One, two, three, four, five, 6. I'll have 3 blockers. He'll be at 5. I block 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And then I try to bridge him next turn. Huh. Anybody know that Urza runs... I mean, I can just get them next turn, but that kind of really stinks. So I can ooze the lattice, right? And then put it back in exile and then try it again. Huh. Yeah, it really is. This Mirrodin and Besieged is also really sweet. I think I have to bridge. I think it's my only way of winning. Yeah, I definitely need to bridge. Hopefully I don't draw a land. Yeah, I'm not in a good spot here. I think I would have been better off if I finale'd a few turns ago for Druid. Give myself a few more outs. Okay, so they can attack with... Scuttling Tarn, sure. Yeah, they can put Karn down to 2, so I think I'm going to have to kill Karn. Oh, if I kill Karn for bridge, then I'm just dead to Grinding Station. Yeah, I think I'm just in trouble here. It's amazing that this deck is so good that I'm running mainboard Stony Silence, that it's not even just Stony Silence, I'm plussing every turn, destroying... I plussed twice and destroyed their permanents. And I'm still, I feel, behind here. If my opponent attacks with everything, Sure. Yep. The good news here is what just happened was our opponent tapped mirrors. Unless they have a way of untapping them, that means Karn is going to survive. So as long as I don't draw a land or something really hard to cast, I think I'm fine. I can just bridge. And then I can lattice in a few turns and use skews to stop them from comboing me. I hope not. I do have a lot of mana though, so it might be fine. As long as it's not a land, because they have a lot of 1/1s. Because I can choose to find... really, this just costs 3 mana. I can pay 0, I can pay 1, and then choose not to find anything. Man, this Urza deck is resilient. Honestly, I'd love to draw a Utopia Sprawl. Off the top, that'd probably be my favorite draw. Sure. As long as it's not a land, I'm fine. Yep. Yeah, this is a really good deck. I actually think Urza would be the best deck in the format if it wasn't for Hogak. I mean, just look at what they're doing right now. Hey, Coleman 1539, welcome aboard the Doom Train. Yeah, cast another Mox Opal, sure. The reason I'm not F6ing is I do have Scavenging Ooze mana up with that Arbor Elf. One, two, yeah. And I need 5 to spin the wheels. So, I mean, even if we bridge them, it doesn't mean we win. Okay. New plan. We're going to mill our opponent. New plan, they're going to time out? Maybe, yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to F6 here, and then I'm going to turn off auto yield if I see him use their graveyard. I mean, they're digging hard for this infinite combo, right? Or they're just flooding the board as hard as possible. I really just want to know if there's a land on top. It's insane. So they get to, there's Mox Opal, just generate more and more mana. And they're doing this through Stony Silence, effectively, which is just insane. They're just using Grinding Station as a Dark Ritual every single time they cast an artifact. I actually don't know if they can win this turn. I don't know my opponent's deck that well. They're running some really sweet different things. They can deck themselves this turn, right? One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they've only revealed 7 lands so far. So they have a lot of lands left in their deck. I think they're just trying to set up lethal for next turn. What's the other mode here? Yeah, all right, yep. Yeah, Mirrodin Besieged would end the game. $15 or more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They need 6 more because I can eat 1. I mean, at this rate, they've eaten up almost half their game clock for the match. I think, like, if I was sitting at a table right now, I would call a judge and tell him I'm going to the bathroom. Yeah. If my opponent wins this game, one in the game was that I didn't needle Urza blindly, which I should have. Arguably, they didn't have it yet, and I was trying to preserve Karn's life total, and this Metallic Rebuke, which we've seen most of their deck now, and it looks like it's either a one of or the rest of their copies are in this bottom piece here. So anybody have any questions about Druid Karn or the Modern Streamers League tonight? I will be playing Druid Karn, sans X-Drinker, because I hadn't put him on the list yet when I registered the deck. Ooh. Return any number of target non-land, non-token permanents you control to their hand. Draw a card for each returned... Wow. Okay. They have 14 cards left in their deck. I have tried Giver of Runes. I have not given Giver of Runes the adequate testing that she probably deserves. I don't like her. I don't like turn 1 Giver very much. I'd much rather have something like a turn 1 Arbor Elf, which is a kind of like a... What I like about this Druid Karn list is... Nope, turn off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, like they don't even have it. Because of the way that triggered, their cleanup was after, which is kind of cool. So I need to not draw land, and I need to eat their graveyard. Right. Oh, you know what? Teferi would be pretty good for me, wouldn't? No, they'll just recast it. If I get a Cripple's Karn, then I'm dead to all these tokens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Either way, I'm going to cast Oath of Nissa. I'll keep this one. Trigger. I will choose to get nothing. I don't want any of those anyway. Neither of those help me. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I need 4 mana for Scoos, right? I need 3 mana for Bridge. That's 7. And I need 4 mana for these finales. That's 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I'm just dead here, right? Can we finale for something? No. Shall I? Doesn't do anything. Not main board, no. I think I need to Karn minus... So my options here are... Because Bridge is a one way I can win this game, right? I just can't... Shalai gives me hexproof, yep. Target opponent loses the game. Okay. Okay, so that'd be 6. Finale for 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, we only have 7. So finale for Shalai costs 6. I can't do that. I can finale for Shalai and do a Pithing Needle on Urza. I do not have EE in the board, no. My sideboard is right here. I do like Finale for Shalai. I like that a lot. I think I'm just dead to their board, though. It's 20 power, right? I can't think of anything either. I need to draw. them to kill Karn, and I need to draw another Karn. So I need as many blockers as possible to not die. So I'm going to finale for 2. Yeah. I know I didn't want to show them the Druid, but I think I just need some way to win. All they have to do is attack. Yep. Utopia Sprawl. That's the card I needed to win. Okay. Winds of Abandon's coming in. I might want Path just to hit Urza. Hex Drinker doesn't do much. So I have normally to cut Shalai here, and but I didn't see any blacks, and I don't have to worry about Dead of Winter or Thoughtseize or Fatal Push. Yeah, that was a really, really cool game. Unfortunately, it didn't go our way. I'm going to cut the Shalai. I know she was an out to that, but I also have outs with these cards here. So, cutting 2 finales to hedge against Grafdigger's Cage. Oh, 1 land, this hand would have been great. If that was a forest, this hand would be, or a Temple Garden, that hand would be playable. Okay, I don't want to go to 4, so... Yeah, I need a fast combo hand, and I'm bold for it, but I wasn't going to 4. Not when I have a turn 3 Karn on the play. That hurt. Okay. Not drawn particularly well this game either. Unfortunately, Arbor Elf's ability is not a mana ability. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, if they'd named Windswept Heath, we would have been potentially... Either way, we're having Karn, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. Can't lattice them. I think I just got to blind name the Urza. Turn 4 Karn is just really, really slow. Luckily, they just hadn't put anything on the board yet. Like if they drop an Urza here, I think it might just be, this might be game over. Not because I can't block the Urza, but because I can't block that token. If that's what they do, then I'm probably just going to need to get a bridge. And then try to slow them down. Okay, same thing here, probably. Yep. Buy the Needle on Karn, sure. Knight of Autumn or Teferi are my best hopes. Yeah, I don't think we can win here. I need... Yeah, I'm mulled to 5. I needed to draw decently well, and I've drawn 1 non-land card off of a mull to 5. Like, that's how I lost at the MCQ, too. And I don't think it's a... I think it's just bad variance. if you really think about it. Because if you look, I'm a 21 land deck. Yeah, even Bridged won't protect Karn at this point. Urza, the fact that the fact that Urza isn't an artifact is really what makes the deck so strong. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any out I have here. I need to deal with those needles. So I crack that, and then I have exactly 3 mana left, which can be a Knight of Autumn, but nothing else. Like I can Knight of Autumn or Teferi, but then I can't actually use it yet. Knight of Autumn, no. Okay, so now I need to draw a Knight of Autumn. They're going to kill Karn. Okay, so that's the answer for... So that's the answer for Bridge anyway. I just don't see an out at this point, unless my opponent just takes 7 minutes to kill me, which they really, really should not, because they have a 9/9 in play. This is a situation where Shatterstorm is better than Stony Silence. What do you guys think? Do you see any outs here from my end? Okay. Wow. Didn't expect to lose to Urza, but we did in 2, despite having main board Karn the Great Creator. Game 1 was really close. I think the fact that Urza comes with a body, a big body, like its own Tarmogoyf, is really what makes it difficult for us because we can't block that body. Winds of Abandon would have been fine. Yep. The Ether Grid really sealed the deal. I don't think we could win through that. Yep. I agree. Yeah. Mull to 5 and only drew 2 non-land cards over a few turns, and neither of them were relevant. But... oh, we got a treasure chest. Let's do, let's do one more. Let's do one of the $2 ones. Got a little bit more time. Yeah, they were in a build which actually is really good against Karn, being able to win with that Mirrodin's Besieged. Sand is awkward. If I want to cast a turn 2 Teferi, I can't cast a turn 2 Teferi. Yeah. If I could, maybe, but I can't. And I will bottom... This is a hand with no Druid, but it does have ramp, which is the most important thing for us. Yeah, I think the rebuke is really what locked us out of game one. We get the game one if they didn't have rebuke, which I was not expecting that card at all. Mill. Okay. Extirpate my Arbor Elf. Okay, that's mills me 3. It's fine. Was not expecting to play against mill. Alright, let's think this through. If I cast Karn this turn and try to go for a lattice lock, I can't actually lattice till turn 6 anyway. So I think I'm just better off finaleing for a Druid and then going Karn next turn. Cool thing about Teferi Time Ravelers is as long as I fetch on my turn, my opponent can never get me with the trap card or Archive Trap. You really do run into the jankiest things, considering this is like a $2 queue. I guess $2 isn't that much, but it's actually a worse return on your investment than doing a league. That's not fair. I'm going to bank on hitting a land. There's no reason to grab Lattice here in case my opponent has Thoughtseize. But Mission Briefing is a card I can stop with this Tormod script. Mission Briefing. Yep. I was trying to think, like, there's no point in plussing Karn at that point, so I might as well get some minimal value out of him. I think that's what Crypt will do here. Wow. Hard cast Archive Trap. Down to 24. If I draw a land, then I'll lose 6. Yeah, I just need to draw a land off the top. Land? Land. Let's make sure I still have lands left. Yeah. One, two, three, four, five, six. And I get to bounce that Mesmeric Orb, so I'm fine. Yeah, we could get milled up by that, but we have this awesome card called Teferi, which did amazing work there. Let's grab Knight of Autumns. What's bad here? Shalai's actually pretty good. Yes, that was my plan. My plan was to, even if I'd left it in play, I was just going to be milling myself 1 per turn by attacking with 6 for lattice. That was my actual win condition, was to 6 them, and that would take 3 turns, which would mill me 3 collectively. But because I had Teferi, I didn't have to worry about being milled 3. Yeah, Karn is just amazing. Karn and Teferi together is really strong. This deck sometimes doesn't feel like a Druid deck. Like right there, it didn't feel like a Druid deck at all. It felt like a Planeswalker control deck. Ooh, this is a forest. That Sprawl would be good. I think I have to go Oath of Nissa, dig for a land. Bottom. Another Oath. What I don't want to see is a Hedron Crab. If they're smart, they take the Oath. Okay. Okay, so we know a Karn is on the bottom, which is relevant because we will have infinite mana on 3. There's another Karn. Okay. So I have infinite mana and I'll be digging 4 deep. We know 1 Karn in the bottom, 1 Karn in the graveyard. If this lives, we get to dig pretty deep now because of Teferi. Okay, that's pretty sweet. Teferi bounce Oath of Nissa. Like if we don't get a win condition here, it would be really strange. Ooh. Okay. We'll get to dig 4 deep thanks to Horizon Canopy. Eternal Witness, buy back Karn. So unless they have Extirpate, I think we're fine. Just in case they do, I'm going to sacrifice this to see if I can just cast it before they do anything. Okay. So if they have exactly Extirpate left in their hand, we don't win here. Okay. All right, in a friendly queue, we took on Mill. So fun little match. That matchup against Urza was a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys liked it. Either way, tune in 3 hours for the Modern Streamers League. I will see you there. I am playing to be undefeated in the league, along with Spider Space, who's the only other player who's competing for being undefeated. I will see you guys all later. Thanks for hanging out.